Hi, welcome again to the Beer Temple. I am Chris, and I have my lovely wife, Margaret Quinn, with me.
You always call me your lovely wife.
Do you not want me to call you that?
You have to work on your adjectives, that's all I'm saying.
My loving.
Beautiful, charismatic, charming. Anyway, let's get down to it.
Okay, let's get down to it. We are back. We are doing something about as far as possible that you can do from our last show, which was a blind tasting of American macro lagers, which was kind of cool. If you haven't seen that, you might want to check it out. This one is kind of a one-off, Imperial Stout. So we're going from huge production runs to one-time production run, macro to micro, American to European.
And just the style of the beer. I mean, American lagers, you know, that certainly is nothing like an Imperial Stout.
Yeah, not even American lager, an American adjunct lager.
Right.
Weighing in at, about 4%, 4.5%. This guy is coming in at 10%. And the beer we're talking about is the Brewdog Paradox. And this is a limited run series. They're still doing them, but it's different each time. I think they are kind of going back to some continually, but this was a one-off. And basically what they do is it's an Imperial Stout, and they age it in whiskey casks, Scotch casks to be specific. And Imperial Stouts are one of the most common styles to barrel age. It's very, very popular. In fact, at the World Beer Cup, which we attended last year, not this year, but last year, the #1 category in terms of entries was barrel-aged beers, strong ales or something like that.
Right.
So
it's just booming in popularity, and Brewdog is in Scotland, which also makes sense why they're using these Scotch casks to age the beer.
Absolutely. So what they do is they'll pick a different distillery or a different even cask from that distillery, and they'll age some. I think this one was aged like 2 years. I think that's typical. I think that's what it is. So let's see. Imperial Stout. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. It doesn't say. I know some of them, they have aged for 2 years, though. That's a long time to age a beer.
Yeah.
It seems ridiculously long, actually. So maybe I'll go back and look at it. I mean, that's what I read, but now that I'm saying it out loud on tape, and I'm on the record saying that, I want to make sure that's accurate. This is Port Dundas. I'm not sure if there still is a distillery there, but they obviously used to have one. This is from a 1966 cask of Scotch.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, and before that, I mean, it was probably a bourbon cask. Either that or sherry is another common barrel for aging Scotch in, so you might be getting some of those flavors as well. And then it's a huge Imperial Stout on top of it. They do Speyside, Isla, Longrow, Springbank, all sorts of areas. But when I was at the store one time a while back, I bought this a couple of years ago, I was like, wow, that one looks really cool. So I figured we'd get it and try it.
Yeah.
So you might not be able to find this one, but there's a whole bunch of different ones out there that you may be able to find. So, well, first of all, let's see if it's any good.
Yeah, that's true. Do you want to find it or not?
Right. I know in 2008 it did win gold at the World Beer Cup.
Oh, really?
Not this one, but one of the Paradox
series. Yeah.
Series 1.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, it's the same base beer, I would think.
Right.
It's just, the barrels.
Yeah,
who knows how much it affects it. Okay. So, this beer you are definitely going to want to taste at room temp.
Yeah, that was one of the interesting things, that I noticed about this beer, is that it even says on the bottle to serve it at room temperature. So this is not one you want to have in your fridge prior to serving. Very, very little head. Head retention typically goes down as alcohol volume goes up. Typically, it's not a 1-to-1 relationship. Think of something like Duvel, which is a Belgian golden ale. Pretty strong beer, tons and tons of head. But when you get up real, real high into like the 10% range, it's hard to keep it's hard to keep the carbonation in there. It looks like iced tea or like milk. I mean, really, you would barely even realize that this is carbonated based on what's coming up at the top of the beer.
And who knows? Maybe they didn't recarbonate it. A lot of times brewers will reforce carbonate their beer. They might have just pulled it out of the barrels and put them into bottles. Right. And in that way, I mean, you're going to have very, very little carbonation. A black black beer.
Yeah.
It's got
opaque black.
Yeah, opaque black, but at the edges you are getting a little kind of that caramel color, a little light
chestnut,
brown. Yeah, chestnut. Right, I like that.
See, I make good use of adjectives.
Yeah, you're right. Better than me.
But yeah, almost just very looks like a flat soda to me.
Yeah, maybe like a root beer.
Yeah, like a flat cola.
Let's see what it smells like.
All right, yeah.
Quite a bit going on.
Yeah, I get maybe some like bittersweet chocolate in this.
Bittersweet chocolate, you're getting a little bit of that meaty flavor as well. Definitely getting some of the barrel.
I was gonna say, yeah, the booze is probably one of the primary things that I smell.
So you're getting like a boozy alcohol flavor. I'm not really smelling that, but I am definitely getting a barrel.
Yeah, and when I said booze, you're probably right. I'm like mentally pairing that to Scotch or whiskey, or like that's what I'm going to when I say booze. But yeah, you're right. I do get like that kind of that vanilla oak thing.
Yes.
And that's what I'm associating with booze, probably. Yeah.
Yep, I'm getting that. It's nice. So you're getting kind of a vanilla chocolate oak, and also a little bit of that umami kind of meaty flavor as well.
I can definitely see wanting to warm this up because I'm sure those smells are going to come out even more. Taste.
Thinner mouthfeel than you would think. And I noticed as I was swirling it, it seemed a little aqueous, whatever you call that.
You made that up.
Might be a made-up word, I don't know. Yeah, it was a little watery. I don't want to say watery because that sounds negative, but it's for such a big, dark stout, you would expect it to be a little fuller in the mouth. You are getting that roasty kind of burnt roast flavor to it.
I was going to say like a roasted coffee, like a black coffee, with no milk and sugar in it, that kind of, bitter roasty type thing.
Quite a bit of vanilla. Really getting a lot of that vanilla, maybe some spicing in there as well.
Yeah.
And kind of like, the bitterness I'm getting is from the roast, not necessarily from the hops.
No,
almost
not at
like
all.
how you get from like a Guinness. How Guinness has quite a bit of bitterness, but a lot of that comes from the roast. I'm getting that here as well. I'm not getting a lot of Scotch.
No.
Maybe a hint. Certainly not a lot of peat or smoke or anything from those, really big, powerful smelling Scotches. Whoops. So, yeah.
Yeah, you taste the barrel, not so much the Scotch.
Which I think is a good thing. I mean, maybe in the background you're getting a little bit of that whiskey character to it. But it's really more about the barrel, I think. It is a 1966 Scotch, so who knows how long ago it had that 1966 Scotch in it. Maybe it had been sitting empty for a while. Maybe it had something else in there as well. Who knows?
For as far as food pairings, I think this would go really well with the dark chocolate dessert.
Absolutely. Like a double chocolate cake or something like that.
Right. Or even just, having like truffles or something for dessert. I think it'd be a perfect match.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to want a big, dark chocolate with this.
Yep.
Maybe chocolate with a little bit of raspberry or something like that to kind of liven it up.
Yeah, this is definitely an end of meal beer, to kind of sit by the fire and sip on.
I am enjoying it though.
Yeah, me too.
I do like it. I'm gonna go 89 with this beer.
Okay.
I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, I'll go with you at 89. That's about what I feel as well.
Yeah.
Good beer.
Yeah.
Solid.
Solid beer. It was pricey, so I will give it that. I don't know if I would pay the amount of money I paid for it.
And that seems to be a trend with Brewdog, right?
Well, it's also limited, and I mean, if they did sit on this beer for 2 years.
Right, that's true. That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
True.
So we'll see. But that's about it. Again, please keep the reviews and the ratings on iTunes coming, or just the comments. We've been getting more and more comments on the website as well.
Which is great.
Yeah, so check us out there. And that's about it. Thanks a lot, guys, as always. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.